Hello, this is Nataraja Upadhya. This is the weekly mutual fund analysis of the top 50 mutual funds as on June 28, 2024. So let us get on with the presentation. So the first thing we are going to discuss is the summary of various mutual funds performance from 1 week to 1 year. Other than the commodity funds, you could say that all the top 50 funds and average returns of all the mutual fund types were positive for the week and as well as for the month. Let us look at some numbers. The top 50 monthly return mutual funds across all fund types gave 1.84% return. For the month, they gave 11.19% return, and for the annual basis, they gave only 44.04%. Whereas the top 50 annual leaders, they gained 0.67% through the week, 5.84% through the month, which is much lesser than the monthly leaders, and annually they maintained the 78.55%. So between the monthly leaders and the annual leaders, the differential basically tells you that there has been a churn out on the leadership of the mutual funds. Let us ignore the bottom 50 for now. Entire mutual fund universe average has been positive for the month, and annual average is 27.80% across all the 1605 funds, which includes debt funds to the tune of 484 debt funds and 218 hybrid funds and 53 commodity funds. So if you look at the equities only, that same number is 41.65%. That is, the average annual return of 850 equity funds is 41.65%. So this is a challenge for the individual investor. Why an individual investor cannot hit an average of mutual funds annual return, which is 41.65%, is a challenge that should be accepted. This is easily achievable, and that's why this monthly analysis is shared with you. If you stay with the winners, you can do at least this much. Top 50 equity is almost similar to the leaders from all fund types. Only the differential is the across all fund types, only one hybrid fund made it to the list, which is amazing. So that we'll talk about it when it comes to the hybrid funds. Otherwise, equity funds average is somewhat similar to that of all fund types. But when it comes to the annual top 50, it is always only the equity funds, the averages are matching. Coming to the hybrid funds, the monthly leaders gained 6.03% for the month. Annual leaders gained 5.28%. So there is some amount of churn out between monthly leaders and annual leaders. So annual leaders returned 35.65%, which is pretty impressive, I would say, for hybrid funds. Of course, this is the top 50. Therefore, mostly the aggressive nature of the hybrid funds make to this list. So if you are having more conservative type hybrid funds, my analysis may not be useful to you because they are not going to figure out in the top 50. However, once in a while, I make a detailed hybrid funds analysis. I hope to make it once in a month. Looking at the debt funds, there is nothing to talk about there. However, there is something to talk about commodity funds. Commodity funds continue to correct through the last week as well as last 1 month. Still, the annual return is 24.43%, which is amazing. But going forward, these numbers may get dented. So be careful. So that is about the averages across various fund types. Now we are going into top 50 across all fund types. This is pretty much equity funds except for one hybrid fund here. SBI Magnum Children's Benefit Fund Investment Plan has given a return of 11.04% for the month, and for the annual basis 43.30%. Now the rows that are marked in green are investment worthy. As I told before, if I have marked the rows in green, that means within these top 50, they have above average return for all the timelines from 1 month to 1 year. And those funds are Motilal Oswal Mid Cap Fund Direct Plan gave 14.80% for the month and 65.91%. That means there is a huge recovery for this fund through this month. DSP Nifty Small Cap 250 Quality 50 Index Fund gave a monthly return of 12.23%. Quant Tech Fund, for the first time we are seeing a tech fund in the green zone, gave 11.87%. And Invesco India Mid Cap Fund gave a return of 11.84%. Motilal Oswal Nifty Micro Cap 250 Index Fund gave 11.55%. And LICMF Small Cap Fund gave a return of 11.23%. So we do have one small cap fund, one mid cap fund, one micro cap fund, actually two small cap funds in the green zone. That is a good news. So new investments can be made on these funds for their consistent above average returns from 1 month to 1 year. Now let us look at the annual top 50 across all fund types, which is basically represented by only the equity funds. The top fund has given 132.73% return for the last 1 year, and lowest one has given 66.77% for the year. The green ones, which are having above average returns for all the timelines from 1 month to 1 year, are HDFC Defense Fund, Bandhan Infrastructure Fund, LICMF Infrastructure Fund, Nippon India Power and Infrastructure Fund, Invesco India Infrastructure Fund, and Franklin Build India Fund. Okay, so that is about the annual leaders. So you do have good investment choices even among the annual leaders. Now let us coming to monthly top 50 within the equity funds. This is within the equity funds. If you notice, the top 50 now is filled with most of the IT funds here and digital funds. However, we should focus only on the green ones, which are investment worthy because they have above average returns from 1 month to 1 year. They are Motilal Oswal Mid Cap Fund, DSP Nifty Small Cap 250 Quality 50 Index Fund, Quant Tech Fund, Invesco India Mid Cap Fund, Motilal Oswal Nifty Micro Cap 250 Index Fund, LICMF Small Cap Fund. So basically, these are pretty much the same funds we saw in the monthly top 50 across all fund types. However, this is within the equity only. Only one fund has been replaced here. That is the hybrid fund has been replaced by the one equity fund here. I am not going to discuss the annual equity only top 50 because it is same as the one which is already discussed across all fund types. Instead, let us discuss monthly bottom 50, mainly to appreciate which are the top performance leaders are getting into bottom 50. So therefore, it's a concern. You need to watch out if you are invested in this, and you need to verify whether this negative trend will continue. If so, you may want to dump these funds and free up that money for the new leaders that are emerging. So the ones which are highlighted are the annual leaders in returns. They are Mirae Asset Nice Fang Plus ETF FOF, which is the US market minus 1.74% return for the month. Kotak Nifty PSU Bank ETF minus 0.18% return for the month. DSP Nifty PSU Bank ETF minus 0.17% return for the month. ICICI Prudential Nifty PSU Bank ETF minus 0.15% return for the month. Nippon India ETF Nifty PSU Bank Bs minus 0.15% return for the month. Quant PSU Fund 0.57% return for the month. DSP Natural Resource and New Energy Fund 0.73% return for the fund. ICICI Prudential Bharat 22 Fund of Fund 1.66% for the month. SBI PSU Fund 1.78% for the month, which is good because it's no more negative. Last report had some negative. So you can still hold it, but watch it out. Aditya Birla Sun Life PSC Equity Fund 1.90%, Bharat 22 ETF 1.95%, ICICI Prudential PSC Equity Fund 2.27%. Now the budget is expected around 20 to 23rd of the July. So there will be a reasonable bullish trend until then in the market, because there is also a quarterly results that will be coming up. Most of the quarterly results come through the month 2, and some will overflow to month 3 also. So month 1 will be typically bellwethers. Therefore, some bellwether results will be there by 22nd and 23rd. Bottom line, market may be more sideways with the upward bias until then. Therefore, you don't need to rush into redeeming any of the mutual funds till then. However, this is more of a caution. I did similar exercise, which is equity annual bottom 50. Here, mainly to appreciate what are the underperformers who are trying to recover. So what I have taken is any fund which has given a recovery of more than 5% for the last 1 month, I have highlighted. So they are not a direct recommendation for investment, but they need to be watched out. One is Franklin Asian Equity Fund, gave a return of 6.85%, but its annual return is only 9.72%. I will not discuss annual returns because they are here because of the low annual returns. Edelweiss Emerging Markets Opportunity Equity Offshore Fund 5.05% for the month. HSBC Global Emerging Markets Fund 5.97%. Tata Nifty Private Bank ETF 7.79%. HDFC Nifty Private Bank ETF 7.73%. SBI Nifty Private Bank ETF 7.73% for the month. ICICI Prudential Nifty Private Bank ETF 7.73% for the month. SBI Magnum Global Fund 5.65% for the month. HDFC Nifty Growth Sectors 15 ETF 5.64% for the month. Navi Nifty Bank Index Fund 6.92% for the month. Motilal Oswal Nifty Bank Index Fund 6.88% for the month. ICICI Prudential Nifty Bank Index Fund 6.92% for the month. Axis Nifty Bank ETF 6.91% for the month. HDFC Nifty Bank ETF 6.91%. So the main usage of this screen is, for some reason, if you are stuck with these underperformance, this is not the time to sell them. You either should have sold long back, or now many of these are looking up. So you may want to stay positive and track them for better returns ahead. So that is the message here. Now let us go to hybrid funds. Hybrid monthly top 50, the highest return was 11.04% for the month, which is very impressive. It's as good as an equity fund. And this one made it to the top 50 list across all fund types, that is SBI Magnum Children's Benefit Fund Investment Plan. And the lowest in the top 50 monthly return was 4.71%. The investment worthy ones marked in green for above average return across 1 month to 1 year are SBI Magnum Children's Benefit Fund Investment Plan, Mahindra Manulife Aggressive Hybrid Fund, Bank of India Mid and Small Cap Equity and Debt Fund, Union Retirement Fund, Union Children's Fund, UNESCO India Aggressive Hybrid Fund, Kotak Equity Hybrid Fund, JM Aggressive Hybrid Fund, UTI Aggressive Hybrid Fund. And typical annual return of these leaders is somewhere in between 57.80% all the way down to around 33.57%. So these are monthly leaders. So if you look at the annual top 50, the top return is 58.23%, and the lowest is 28.37%. And the marked one with the green, which are investment worthy for having above average return across 1 month to 1 year, are JM Aggressive Hybrid Fund, Bank of India Mid and Small Cap Equity and Debt Fund, SBI Magnum Children's Benefit Fund Investment Plan, UNESCO India Aggressive Hybrid Fund, Mahindra Manulife Aggressive Hybrid Fund. That is about hybrid funds. Now, finally, we are discussing commodity funds. There is not much good news here. Like last week, there has been a significant weekly correction and a significant monthly correction. though the annual returns are still looking good. There are only around 53 commodity funds, so I have included all of them. There is no fund that can be marked in green here because there has been a churn out in leadership. The best fund for the month gave 0.01% return, a positive. That's the only one fund with above zero return. The last one gave 7.27% correction for the month, which is HDFC Silver ETF. I had this fund and I sold it in time, so I saved myself with the 7.27% correction through the last 1 month. So you can see that annual leaders are in the bottom of the list and monthly leaders are on the top of the list. So as a result, there is no fund which has given you consistent return across 1 month to 1 year. So there is no recommendation for investment, and which is right because commodity funds are more correcting than appreciating. So you better stay up for the near future until a new trend emerges or a better clarity emerges. So that is the message here. So that comes to the end of today's discussion. Usual disclaimers apply. This is more of an analysis and not a solicitation for mutual fund and investment. Mutual fund investments are always subjected to market risk, and I cannot be responsible for any errors in the data which is coming from the funds to value research to me, and there could be some occasional data processing error on my side also. All your investment decisions should be made on yourself, made by yourself with no need to blame anybody else, including yourself. So you can always look for detailed data on my blog, Nats Fun Corner on Blogger. All my blogs and video bulletins are always available in one of my social network platforms that is shown here. So thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope this bulletin is useful as usual. I look forward to see you next week again. Until then, have a good one. Thank you.